Every hour, every minute, every second, there's something new happening in your favorite pastime. Get all caught up here on Pastimes on the Mic. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Send us any questions you want answered on the show. Send us an email. Here's the email down below. If you got a question, send us your Hall of Fame ballot for the Major League Baseball. That's what we're talking about today. It's definitely a little bit of a special episode here today. We have my man Dennis Torii. We're going to talk some MLB Hall of Famers. Before we know it, we got some guys entering the Hall of Fame class of 2024. But most importantly, Dennis, how we feeling today, bro?
Doing all right. No complaints. A little bit of snow, a lot less than I thought.
Less
than I thought.
Yeah, we're getting some flurries out here on Long Island, New York. If you're out driving, if you're listening, stay safe on the road. It's no joke out there. But yeah, so let's dive right into it, though, man. So let me share the screen. This is like our generational ball players right here. So there's a lot of love for these guys we're about to be showing.
It's definitely weird. It's definitely a weird feeling. Like, I remember just about not the entirety of Joe Mauer's career. He was in the league a lot longer than I thought he was.
Yeah, man. He was like, what, 04 to like 2018, right? About?
Something like that.
Yeah,
And it's weird because, like, I remember basically all of James Shields' entire career.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when, like, Jose Reyes was, like, the fun, young Met player. Same thing with David Wright. So it's definitely weird to have, like, the guys who are their first year on the ballot. It's like, man, I watched most of just about their entire careers. Bautista.
Yeah. You feel old. I feel old looking at some of these names, man. Like Brandon Philllips. Like, I remember when this dude was just like an all-star on the Reds year in, year out, back like 2015 to 2014. I was like, dude, I was in high school. And now he's on the Hall of Fame ballot. It's insane. Gary Sheffield, bunch of his baseball cards growing up. Like you just said, James Shields. You know, think about it. James Shields was traded for Fernando Tatis Jr. Like, you know, these are all recent names. But yeah, this is like our generation, man. This is like my middle school, high school, like ball players. So my heart says vote everybody in, but definitely I think my brain here.
Yeah.
So
it is like all the Hall of Fame voters have their different criteria. And the one thing that I've seen a lot of people say over the years is, did I look at them as a Hall of Famer when they're playing? And the answer is no. They always say that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know for a fact when Torii Hunter played, everybody thought he was going to get to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
The way he was talked about, everybody thought he was going to get to the Hall of Fame. Because his defense was unreal.
Oh, yeah.
Unreal. And now, you know, when I was a kid, I loved Torii Hunter. Like, he would have like a sentimental vote for me.
Yeah.
But I honestly, it doesn't work that way, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Torii Hunter, though, I was comparing these two guys, and I didn't like realize how close it really was. I was comparing him on Baseball Reference to Andruw Jones, and dude, it's actually like pretty eerily similar how like their careers have panned out. I think they almost have the same amount of Gold Gloves. I think Andruw Jones has like one more Gold Glove or two more, or something like that. But their slash lines, their batting averages, their on base percentage, their slugging, it's all like pretty similar. So we'll get into that in a little bit, though. I guess we'll just go with name by name, see how we feel. And we can start in the top left corner of Bobby Abreu, former Yank, Philly for a long time. I think he ended his career with the Angels. Mm-hmm. How do we feel about Bobby Abreu? Was he on your ballot this year?
So I was going through, and I just want to say we're not a part of the BBWAA, so we don't have votes. But if we did, this is a mock thing. When I was going through, like, looking at highlights and whatnot of all the players and whatever to kind of like jog my memory, there's like nothing on Bobby Abreu.
Yeah.
There's nothing on him. Like, his peak was with the Phillies. I couldn't find really any highlights of him on the Phillies.
Yeah.
And that was like, obviously that's like a stupid reason to not vote for someone, but that is so indicative of Bobby Abreu's career. It really was. He was an afterthought.
Yes.
And then at the end, his career, you look at the wins above replacement, 60, that kind of Hall of Fame range, right? But at the same time, too, I never thought of him as a Hall of Famer. When he was on the Yankees, like, I thought Johnny Damon was better.
Yeah.
I thought Hideki Matsui was way better. You know, like, it's just, I never looked at him as like, yes, Bobby Abreu is who I would want on my team today.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I asked you, like, what former Hall of Famer would you want on your team? Whether it was with the Angels, the Phillies, the Mets, or the Yankees, I don't think anybody says Bobby Abreu. It's a weird. He's like a weird, forgotten player who just had a really good career. Part of me feels like if Steve Finley's not in the Hall of Fame, then Bobby Abreu probably shouldn't be either.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. I liked him. A lot of people are saying yes to Bobby Abreu because 2 All-Stars don't look good, but we didn't have the analytics we have now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. Statistically, like you would think some of it would pan out for him, but I don't think so. I wouldn't vote for him. Not on this ballot. I think it's pretty crowded.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like, as a Yankee fan, loved Bobby Abreu growing up, but, like, after the mid-2010s, after he retired, like 2018, 2019, he kind of gets forgotten, especially when these MLB Immaculate Grids started up, like, this time last year. I do these Immaculate Grids, and I'm like, like, Yankees, Phillies, I can't think of anybody, and then boom, like, Bobby Abreu is just such, like, a name to use for right there, but you just don't think of him. And, like, yeah, look, he almost has 2,500 hits, but he didn't hit 2,500 in an 18-year career. 18 years is a long time to be in MLB. He did have a long, solid career. There wasn't really much of a bad year he really ever had. Always racked up hits. He looked like he got 180 hits a year. His doubles are impressive. 574 career doubles. That's really impressive. But I don't think doubles really secure you a spot in the Hall of Fame. Career 291 hitter, very solid. Not even 300 career home runs. Like you said, only 2 All-Stars. Hall of very good. Hall of very, very good. And as a Yankee fan, and I love Bobby Abreu, man, I think he just misses the cut for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, we're in the same boat.
Yeah. So I think we agree on Bobby Abreu. I guess we'll go
Joey Bats.
Yeah, I guess we'll go Joey Bats here. Jose Bautista. Awesome prime. Awesome prime. He was a fun name in like early 2010s, mid 2010s baseball. Those Blue Jays teams with him, Encarnacion. Oh my God, the famous fight with Rugi Odor. Fun name. I kind of like a Bobby Abreu, I'd say maybe. Just kind of misses the cut for me. Had an insane peak, but the sandwich of his career. Besides that peak, the rest of the sandwich just really isn't there, man. I don't know. He kind of had a slow start to his career, and the end was kind of brutal for Jose Bautista.
That's the thing that sucks with him is wrong place, wrong time. It really was the start of his career. He was a journeyman. He was a bad player. Like he was not a good hitter.
Yep.
And then he goes to Toronto and just instantly just figures it out.
Yep.
He led the league back-to-back years with home runs in 2010 and 11, 54 and 10, 43 and 11. Led the league in RBIs in 11. Just had some really good careers, really good career years. Went to 6 straight All-Stars, 3-time Silver Slugger. Like he was good.
Yeah.
The problem was his peaks really started so late.
Yeah.
Like his prime, you're right. He had an insane prime, but it started so late that he couldn't compile everything else. However, I put his 6 years up against anybody else's 6 years. He didn't win any MVP awards or anything like that. Maybe he could have, but Miguel Cabrera was hitting a triple crown at that time, and
the rise of Mike Trout.
The rise of Mike Trout, who I forgot what player it was. It was it might have been Victor Martinez. I was going over this with a friend of mine. We're looking back at the year Victor Martinez finished second in MVP voting.
It's like 2014, right?
Yeah, 2014. Vimar probably should have won it that year.
He went nuts that year too.
He probably, if you actually look at the stats, he probably was better than Trout that season.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can make a case for Jose Bautista winning some of those MVPs. Like it really was his best years, but just wrong place, wrong time. Someone was always just slightly better than him. So it sucks, but I don't think he is. However, given how good those 6 years are, if he gets into the Hall of Fame because players understand what it takes to grind for years, being a journeyman, going up and down in the minors and whatnot, and then finally hit that stride, but it's just too late, I could see him getting in by a committee.
Yeah, that's definitely possible for sure. And I know with the whole fights of Rugi Odor, I don't know how well he was liked amongst his peers. I'm not too sure on that, but It's definitely possible for sure. That, like I said, he was probably maybe like the third best player of the early 2010s by far, man. Like the 6-year stretch is insane. Like, I want me to say something real quick.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, am I missing somebody? I would have Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols ahead of him, but I can't think of who else would be ahead of him.
Dude,
That 2010 to 13 range.
From 2010 to 2015, his 6 straight All-Star seasons, he racked up 227 home runs, 268 batting average, OPS plus of 156. Dude, he was insane. It was like him, Trout, and Miggy back then, dude. I remember that was just like the crazy American League sluggers. It was an insane era. He's definitely a staple of that era too. So maybe that could play a good part for his case. We'll see though. But personally, I think he just misses the cut.
You called me mid-sip. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But so the next guy, Carlos Beltran.
This is my first one. This is my first. Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna agree with you on that. Beltran, dude. I'm surprised. Like this is what, his second year on the ballot. What is this, second or third year?
Yeah, about there.
I'm surprised he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. I get it. 2017, whatever.
I don't get that argument.
Yeah. I personally don't care enough. This guy had what, a 20-year career, almost 3,000 hits, almost 500 bombs. But like, it's like you said, you brought up that point. Back in like 06, 07 with the Mets, dude, you look at him and you're like, this guy's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He keeps this up. A monster in Kansas City where he started his career. Good stint in Houston in 04 and 2017. He was an absolute unit with the New York Mets, and he had a great year with the Yankees as well. He just you want to talk about wrong players, wrong time. His Giants-Cardinals stint is pretty hysterical. He's on the 2011 Giants. They win World Series between 2010 and 2012. They miss in 2011. Then he joins the Cardinals after they win in 2011. Then the Giants win in 2012. So, I mean, he was definitely close to getting like a second ring in his career. Granted, he got it in 2017. He's got the ring. Rookie of the Year, 2 Silver Sluggers, 9-time All-Star. He has the counted numbers. Awesome player in his prime. Great on defense. Great hitting. Should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I veered totally differently, but got the same result. He's a top 5 switch hitter of all time.
Yeah,
he just is. He has a career WAR of 70.1. He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. He obviously wasn't, like you alluded to, from his supposed involvement in the 2017 Astros cheating scandal. However, it's also really easy to put the entire blame on a guy who can't defend himself. Exactly. He wasn't a player anymore. And he's the only one who's suffered for it. He lost his job managing the Mets. Not fair. So he gets my vote. My reasoning is easy. He's got 435 home runs, 4th all-time for switch hitters, trailing only Mickey Mantle, who has 536, Eddie Murray with 504, and lastly Chipper Jones, who had 468. All 3 are Hall of Famers. His 2,725 hits is 6th all-time for switch hitters, behind obviously Pete Rose, trailing Eddie Murray again, New York Giants and St. Louis Cardinals great Frankie Frisch, Omer Vizquel, and Chipper Jones once more. Lastly, for his greatness among switch hitters, Beltran's 1,582 runs batted in are 3rd all-time for those gifted enough to slug from both sides, trailing just Hall of Famers, Eddie Murray and Chipper Jones. See where I'm going with this? He keeps being spoken about on the same tier as Hall of Famers. Frankie Frisch is a Hall of Famer. Pete Rose isn't, but we know why. Omer Vizquel isn't, but we know why. So why not Beltran? He won Rookie of the Year in 99 with the Royals, won 3 Gold Gloves. Probably could have won a few more, but between when he was in the American League going up against Torii Hunter, when he was in the National League going up against Andruw Jones, it was just he couldn't get more of those, but the defense was certainly good enough to warrant that kind of caliber.
Yeah.
2 Silver Sluggers and 9 All-Stars, man. I would vote for him right away.
Exactly.
The Astros thing keeping him out to me is a joke.
Yeah.
Because he's the only player that lost. He's the only player to be punished already.
Exactly.
And once again, it's also fair to say the guy who masterminded it is the guy who has everything to lose.
Yeah.
You know, like what's Bregman's going to come out and say it was actually me who came up with it? Obviously, it wasn't, but it was me who came up with it and lose his career. This guy's career is already over. It's easy to put the blame on him.
Yep.
Even then, he wasn't explicitly named in anything, so he gets my vote.
Yeah, I agreed 110%. Exceptional career for Beltran. Should have been in last year, so we agree on that. The next name, I think this is the conscious, easy pick here. Adrian Beltre. Hands down, he's a lock. He's a lock. I don't think we need to spend too much time on it. Yeah, 3,000 hits, all those Gold Gloves. He was an animal.
2-time Platinum Glove winner. He's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Shout out to Adrian Beltre. He's definitely a lock this year. He will be making to the Hall of Fame this year. Congrats to him. Real catalyst of those Rangers teams making it to the World Series.
Yeah, turn the whole franchise around, man.
Yeah, he was only 20-something home runs away from 500 bombs too. He was right there. Career 286 hitter, 636 doubles. God damn, dude. God damn. Adrian Beltre, hats off to you, man. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame. The next name, this one's pretty easy for me. Mark Burhle. I'm going to say no to this guy. Fun memories, fun peak. Just doesn't quite do it for me.
I agree. He's Andy Pettitte without the postseason dominance.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's Andy Pettitte is already kind of borderline. If somebody, this is another player who I could see getting in on a committee. Just, I don't think he'll get in. He had all-stars. He had the perfect game. He had the no-hitter. Won a ring in 2005. He was a very excellent player. However, you see how picky they are at starting pitchers. If I told you Dave Steeb's not a Hall of Famer, but Mark Burhle is, how would you feel? If I told you David Cohen's not a Hall of Famer, but Mark Burhle is, how would you feel?
David Cohen, dude. That's Robert right there.
It is a little kind of difficult that, like, for pitchers, the curve is so much greater than other positions. However, the curve is still the curve.
Yep.
So no for Mark Burhle. Fun player to watch. And I love that he was an innings eater and would just work fast.
Yeah.
Loved his game, but not good enough.
So here's a little fun stat for you. I guess we'll add it to stat of the day because I actually didn't know this. I'm looking at his career right now. Mark Burhle has never had a sub-3 ERA season. Never. He's never had a 2 ERA season in his career, which is pretty crazy. He was close in 05, 3.12. He's had some pretty good whips his whole career, but yeah, the overall stats, man, the body of work just doesn't do it for me. Fun name, though. It was a fun name for sure.
I will say, to his, to be fair to him, that era, ERAs were a lot higher than they are now. That's
for sure. For sure.
And
a lot of innings, too. A lot of innings.
Yeah. So it is.
It's just crazy to me.
It is a little different. His 312 is much different than I don't know if Garrett Cole had 312 now. It's a lot different. Now guys being sub-3 ERAs, like that's not too crazy. Then it was crazy, So good for him. Not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Bartolo Colon. One of the best names. Mets fans love this guy. He really did have a solid career overall. I know he has that little steroid thing against him too. Look, fun name, fun memory. Just doesn't do it for me either. And I think his Cy Young should have went to Johan Santana.
I think most people would agree with you.
Yeah, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. So
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Cy Young winner, 4-time All-Star, like you mentioned. And I'm going to say something that might be controversial. I think his time on the Mets does a massive disservice to his legacy.
Oh, yeah. Stats-wise, for sure. Yes.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people always remember him as like, oh, the big chubby guy on the Mets who could get it done, thrown behind his back, all that stuff. Yeah. Fun player to watch, the home run, and him, crawling around the bases off of fellow ballot member James Shields.
No.
But I think people forget when he was like a kid with Cleveland and then with the Angels, he was electric.
Yeah.
Like I was watching some of his highlights. He was electric.
Yeah.
And he was good in the postseason. He had like moments. He was a very good player. And I think that gets overshadowed by the fact that like he ended his career as the big fat guy in the Mets that everybody loves.
Yeah, exactly.
So it sucks. I don't think he would have been a Hall of Famer regardless. I also think that there is the steroid suspension when he was with Oakland.
Yeah.
Not a Hall of Famer, but like a Hall of Fame personality, like a very fun player.
Yeah, exactly.
To watch.
Fun
he's kind of
name,
like he's kind of better in his sport, but kind of like the baseball equivalent to like Jason Williams.
Yeah.
White chocolate for basketball, who's just an exciting player to watch. You love watching him play, but just never going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. He was just he was a character in the story. That's like pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall good career. 2,500 Ks, almost 250 wins. I kind of slept on that a little bit. I'm just looking over his career now. I think if he would have, obviously, if he had 3,000 Ks, 250 wins, shooing for Hall of Fame. That's not the case though. But he was closer than I thought, and he actually didn't do too bad his last season with the Mets. 15-8, 3.43 ERA. He was actually an all-star that year. I always forget about that. Yeah, fun name. Just the all-time numbers for how long he played. 21-year career. Didn't really hit any like significant milestones as well, but much better in his younger years of Cleveland, Chicago, and the Angels. Was awesome in those years. Just doesn't quite do it for me. Bartolo Colon, fun name. Fun name, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Adrian Gonzalez, Agon. I loved him growing up, but I think the prime just didn't really last too long. And I think he just misses it. Really great player, though, in his prime.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with everything you just said. I liked watching him play. I always forgot he started with the Rangers. I always just assumed that he came up as a Padre.
Yeah.
Fun player to watch. 5-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover, 2-time Silver Slug winner. 43.5 wins above replacement. As a first baseman, the curve is different than other positions. 287 career batting average. OPS plus 129 for his career.
Very
across 15 seasons. Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
317 home runs. Good career. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think anybody probably would say he is, but fun player to watch.
Yeah, and I feel like his prime, or like, kind of was cut short. He really fell off after his age 33 season. He just didn't really kind of get quite back there. He had an okay 2016, but then the drop off is huge, especially when we went to the Mets. So yeah, just not enough time, not enough numbers for me personally. In his prime, one of the best first basemen, hands down. He was sick. Just misses it for me. Todd Helton. How is he not in already? That's the question I'm trying to figure out here. Todd
It's ridiculous.
Helton. How is he not
ridiculous.
In? Growing up, dude, I'm a Yankees fan. It was always Jeter, A-Rod. I love those guys, but I had one non-Yankee poster in my room. It was Todd Helton of the Colorado Rockies. Yeah, man. I was a big Todd Helton fan. I was just like, he's sick. He hits for power, hits for average. I'm pretty sure his home and away splits are pretty identical. I'm pretty sure him and Nolan Arenado both. So, like, yeah. So the Coors Field argument, I don't get. Still, his early 2000 stats, this dude was like on par with Barry fucking Bonds, bro. Like, he was insane. I'm pretty sure he was clean, no steroids, whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Todd Helton should have been a long time ago.
Yeah, his 2000 season was ridiculous. 8.9 WAR, led the league. 216 hits, led the league. RBIs 147, led the league. Batting average 372, led the league. OBP 463, led the league. Slugging 698, led the league. OPS 1.162, guess it, led the league.
Yep.
Not technically a Triple Crown winner because it's not home runs, hits, RBIs, but I guess like
he hit everything else.
Yeah, well, I guess technically it is a Triple Crown season because he got hits, RBIs, and batting average.
Yeah, which is
and you can do any of hits, RBIs, batting average, and home runs.
Yeah,
so
it's not the the real Triple Crown by names, but yeah, I see what you're saying. It's a monster season. I think the only major...
like it's a variation of it, and that's before the on base numbers and whatever. He should get it. The only reason why he's not in is because he played for Colorado, which is stupid.
It's so stupid.
He's a Hall of Famer. The Coors effect is real. Players shouldn't be punished for it.
Exactly.
If you don't, you know, if you don't like players' stats because they play in a stadium, don't put a team in Denver.
Like this could be apples to oranges a little bit here, but like if that's the case, why? I know injuries happen. Why isn't Chris Bryant like the hitting 50 home runs a year? Like,
here's this one. People whine about small market superstars being poached, and then they unrightfully punish guys like Helton for existing. Doesn't make any sense. 5 All-Stars, 4 Silver Sluggers, like you said, 3 Gold Gloves, batting title. And you're right. Like, not everybody, like, you don't go to Colorado and instantly become like a great player.
Yeah.
It's not the way it works.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of guys that struggled there anyway. And not only that, like, we're Yankees fans. So let me ask you, how come it's not brought up when we're talking about Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris and Reggie Jackson and other left-handed sluggers at Yankee Stadium?
Exactly.
Fenway Park, if you're a right-handed hitter and you have below 150 hits in the season, consider a career change.
Yep.
You hit the green monster, it's a hit. Guaranteed free hit. Yep. You know what I mean? Every single stadium is different. That's a part of the love and appeal for baseball, is that everything is different. So why are we punishing someone for that difference?
Exactly.
We complain about small market players getting poached. Guy spent his entire career for one small market team, and that's his reward. Not winning an MVP he deserves, and now not getting in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
It's, if you don't think Todd Helton's a Hall of Famer, you just don't know ball.
Yeah.
You just don't know ball.
Yep.
It's
Agreed.
as simple as that. You don't know ball.
Agreed. Couldn't say better myself. And to add more to the Helton's argument, dude, his career averages. So that's a lot of away games. His career averages: 316 lifetime batting average, 414 on base percentage, a 539 slugging, 953 OPS, and a whopping 133 OPS plus. I mean, come on. The slash line's there. Almost 600 doubles in 17 years, 592, 2,500 hits, a World Series appearance in 07. Should have won 2000 MVP. The fact he wasn't even the runner-up's insane. The Coors Field, our haters are just, it's ridiculous. He's a Hall of Famer, off his prime alone, off that little prime alone, and he added really good years after, like 06, when we started to fall off a little bit. He had a good 07 season, good 09, good 2011. It's just, come on, what are we doing here?
And the thing is, with him, the Coors argument, he wasn't even that much of a home run hitter. 369 home runs.
Yeah.
He was an average hitter. That's his specialty, was batting average.
Yep.
So that argument really doesn't play.
Exactly.
It's stupid. It's a stupid argument to be made.
Yep. Agreed 100%. Well, it looks like he should be getting in this year. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. The next name, Matt Holliday, another Colorado Rocky. Insane peak. I just don't think the longevity or the total numbers are there. I could be wrong on that, but I just remember him like going to St. Louis, had a good first few years there. They kind of fell off a little bit.
Yeah, he's not a Hall of Famer to me. He's not. I liked watching him play. I enjoyed watching him play, but no, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I agree, because his numbers in Colorado were phenomenal. He had that awesome 07 season. Vividly remember that.
Of course.
Was a key part in St. Louis in 2011. Definitely provided, some heroics there. Was a key piece. Had that little stint with the Yankees. That was fun, but didn't really do too well there. Ended his career with Colorado in 2018. I kind of forgot about that, to be honest. Yeah, after the first few years in St. Louis, it was just kind of like it was an okay career, not Hall of Fame by any means. I think he just misses the cut.
I agree. He actually, believe it, it's kind of funny. He led the league in hits with the exact same amount that Todd Helton had, 216.
Yeah.
No, it's funny you said that you forgot he was on Colorado. I actually, in 18, I remember that because he was on my fantasy baseball team that year.
Oh my God.
Dude, he raked. He had 283. Yeah. He was a beast for me. I love it.
Yeah. What happened to him? Did he get hurt in his last year? Is that what happened?
I think that might have been it, but I also think he was just getting old.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been he went back to Colorado just to retire. I forget. I don't think it was like an injury or anything like that. I think it really was like a premeditated retiring season.
And he wasn't really that bad with the Yankees either. 19 home runs, 64 ribbies, 105 games. Pretty much the power was kind of carrying him that year, but like,
Yeah,
it's not for 37 years old. That's not horrible.
Yeah, 231 batting average.
Yeah, the power really carried him there.
Yeah, it wasn't great. A lot of strikeouts and whatnot. Yeah. But he won an NLCS MVP, 7-time All-Star, won 4 Silver Sluggers, batting title. Arguably, you're right, could have won the 2007 MVP ahead of Jimmy Rollins, but Jimmy Rollins also had an insane year that year. So
yeah, he did. Yeah, Matt Holliday, Hall, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Just think he just misses the cut. Torii Hunter, and you know what? I kind of want to do these two guys together because let me pull this up. Torii Hunter and Andruw Jones. I got to show you this because I actually looked this up the other day. I was just doing it. I might have to say yes to both these guys. And let me see.
I think if you say yes to one, you have to say yes to both.
And I'll show you why. Let me pull this up. It's loading. All right, here we go. Let me share this screen. Check this out. So here we have Torii Hunter and Andruw Jones, two of the greatest center fielders of their generations. Wow. So, yeah, if you really look at it, man, the on-base percentage is really close. Slugging's pretty close. The OPS plus, off by 1 point. OPS is pretty close. But, yeah, Andruw Jones has 1 more Gold Glove, same amount of All-Stars, almost same amount of Silver Sluggers. Andruw Jones has more home runs. Torii Hunter had a longer, healthier career, more ribbies, stolen bases, and a higher batting average. I think you got to – if you vote for one, I think you got to vote for the other.
And it's funny you say that because people are saying Andruw Jones should be in. He didn't have, the last 6 years of his career were bad in comparison to the beginning half of his career. But overall, if you actually look at him, his OPS plus was above 100, things like that. Like he wasn't bad. It's a very analytical argument for Andruw Jones, the one that a lot of people are making. But I'm not seeing anybody take Torii Hunter seriously. So this is interesting. I didn't think of putting them side by side. But you're right. When you put them side by side, they basically are the same.
Yeah, it's damn close. It's damn close. I'll vote both in. It's like you said, watching Torii Hunter the Twins in the 2000s, I always thought to myself, whenever I got his baseball card, I immediately put it in the sleeve, the protective sleeve.
Yeah.
Put it in the case. I was like, he's awesome. He's a generational guy. It was like him, Derek Jeter, Joe Mauer, Miguel Cabrera, like back in the mid-2000s, A-Rod. He was always right there. So I'm voting both in.
When he robbed Barry Bonds at the All-Star game, that was awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Like I have a Torii Hunter card, a trading card of him. And on the back, they used to have like the little facts about him. And they were calling him Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They were talking about the amount of home runs he robbed.
Dude, if your nickname is Spider-Man in Major League Baseball, you're a fucking Hall of Famer. I don't care how you spit it. If your nickname is Spider-Man and you're in Major League Baseball, you have to be a Hall of Famer. Like you were that good.
He was so good defensively. And I know people say the analytics say Andruw Jones was the best defensive center fielder ever.
Yeah.
But I don't think that doesn't mean that Torii Hunter was a bad center fielder.
Exactly. They were both it's like Batman and Superman, like in center field.
Yeah, right? They were really good. Yeah. And the one thing that hurts them is no other defensive guru center fielders. And Gary Maddox isn't a Hall of Famer. Devo's not a Hall of Famer. Yeah. So Devo was also like an awful hitter when he was with the Blue Jays, Devon White. But like, still, what I'm saying is, if there was like a precedent for them, I could see it. Like Jim Edmonds isn't in the Hall of Famer and arguably might be better than both of them.
Jim Edmonds should be a Hall of Famer. That's for another conversation.
Yeah, like Andruw Jones. I know everybody's going to point to the peak. Everybody's going to point to the peak. And it was good. And it was 10 years of dominance in center field.
Yep.
But it's kind of similar, I guess, to the Bobby Abreu, Steve Finley argument. which is if you're elite for 16, 17 years, is that greater or equal to being great for 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah,
and
I know
then
what you're
petering
saying.
off? So it's different. I think Torii Hunter might have the argument of the longevity, but Andruw Jones has the peak.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think if one's in, they're both in. I didn't think of Torii Hunter being like a serious Hall of Famer.
Yeah, neither did I. Until I really looked into the numbers a little bit, and I was like, because I've been an advocate for Andruw Jones, and then I looked into Torii Hunter. I'm like, huh. I'm like, these stats, these awards, they look so familiar. So I went to Andruw Jones again. I was like, hold up. Then I did the comparison on Baseball Reference. I was like, these two are fucking similar, like almost like identical. So I'm like, all right, if I'm an advocate for Andruw Jones, I'm gonna be an advocate for Torii Hunter now. I think he should definitely be in.
Yeah, and the thing is, you don't think of Torii Hunter being a good hitter, but he's one OPS plus point away from Andruw Jones.
Exactly.
Huh.
Yeah,
that's a good argument. That's a good argument. I never would have thought of it.
Yeah,
so,
no,
yeah, why not?
Neither did I, man. Neither did I. So
I'll pass Torii Hunter this time around because I already have my 10 in mind. But next time I'll get him.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I'm not even counting the 10. I'm just saying like who I think should eventually be in. Yeah, but if I had to pick 10 this year, we'll do that maybe at the end. So let's see. Our next name after Torii Hunter is Victor Martinez. We were just talking about him off air before the show started. I want to hear your thoughts on Vmart.
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
Agreed.
I think he's very underrated. I always kind of forgot who he was. Like, I remember watching him. I remember liking him. But then the second he retired, I never thought about him again. And then I saw his name on the ballot, and I was like, oh, yeah, that guy. Good player. 32 career WAR, OPS plus of 118, RBIs 1,178, pretty good. 295 career batting average. Fun player to watch. He should have won the MVP in 14 over Trout. He should have. He's a DH, so his WAR is not the same as Brantley and Judge. Brantley finished third, Trout finished first, and so it's a little different. But
I see
he had 87 runs. Trout had 115. Victor Martinez had 15 more hits in 41 less at-bats. He had 8 less RBIs in less at-bats. He had 13 less walks, but once again, less at-bats. Like, he was comparable to him. Hit 335, Trout hit 287. Led Trout in OBP, led him in OPS. Led him in slugging by 5 points. Didn't lead the league. Jose Abreu did, but he did lead the league in OBP and OPS.
Yeah,
Victor Martinez should have won it.
Yeah, he did have a monster year that year. I remember the Detroit that year as well. They were a fucking tank overall too. 90-72. That was a good team. Grant, and you know what's funny too? That's the only playoff year for Trout as well, which is kind of crazy to think about. There's definitely a lot of argument for Vmart. I wouldn't disagree with him winning MVP. And was he still catching that year, or was he just primarily DH?
I think he was a DH by that point.
Yeah, so that might hurt
he was
a little bit.
Kind of up there in age. He was
35.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and he actually had a pretty good 2016 as well, man. 27 bombs, 86 ribbies, batted 289. Yeah, he had for a catcher. He was primarily a catcher in Cleveland. He went to Boston for a little bit. He was great then. A lot of good offensive seasons. I don't think he was the best defensively. So Hall very good. And when it comes to catchers, I mean, it's kind of tough. You know, he's probably one of the better catchers of that era. So I'd say Hall very good. Doesn't get my vote because this next guy does. Joe Mauer of the Minnesota Twins. He gets my vote for sure.
Absolutely, he gets mine.
Yeah.
I have a whole thing on Joe Mauer. I mean, he's one of my favorite players ever. He was because I said to you off air. He was the cover of MLB The Show 2010, which I remember buying at GameStop when I was a kid. PS2. Listen, he is 7th all time in wins above replacement for catchers, trailing Johnny Bench, Gary Carter, Ivan Rodriguez, Carlton Fisk, Mike Piazza, Yogi Berra. He's ahead of 12 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, sure.
His WAR per 7 best seasons, 5th, ahead of Carlton Fisk and Yogi Berra. His offensive WAR is 8th. All right, not that good. Ted Simmons and Mickey Cochran jump him. And he jumped, I guess, somebody. Because, he's 9th. Excuse me, that's why I threw myself off. But he was very good, man. He was really, really, really good.
He just got hits, man. He just got on base. He was awesome, dude.
He won an MVP award.
Yep.
I mean, like he was an excellent player. And considering like how he holds up to other catchers, it doesn't go unnoticed. MVP, 6-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove winner, 5-time Silver Slugger, and for me, 3-time batting title or batting champion, however you want to word it, as a catcher. Led the league in batting average, 347 in 06, 328 in 08, 365 in 09 as a catcher. An OPS plus a 171 with batting 365. Wasn't a power hitter, 143 for his career. 09, really the only power hitting season for him. 28 with 96 RBIs.
And only 138 games, too. If he played
so good.
If he played 150 games that year, dude, he probably would have flirted with 50 home runs maybe that year, dude.
Just given the rest of his career, I'd probably say like maybe
like 40,
like 45, 40, like 45 would probably be the high. But he already hit 96 RBIs in 138 games. So it's Lord knows what that would end up as.
Insane.
Really just a fun player to watch. And I'm going to be honest with you. I might catch some flack for this. Yadier Molina is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
I would take Joe Mauer on my team over Yadier Molina every single day, twice on Sunday.
I don't entirely disagree with you.
I would, because the defense, I understand what Yadier Molina does and whatever, but offensively, Joe Mauer was a super weapon at the catcher position. And we all know catchers are not usually great hitters. It's very rare to find them. And when they happen, they're usually spoken about as Hall of Famers or your Jorge Posada, and you win 5 championships and your consolation prize is falling off the ballot after 1 year. Go figure.
Yeah. Joe Mauer definitely blows Yadi out of the water in offense because
and
Yadi's career high in home runs is 22, and Joe Mauer, like we said, not a home run guy, beat that by 6 home runs in 09, 28 bombs. Joe Mauer just not as good as Yadi, but Joe Mauer did have solid defense in his prime. And, to win games, you got to score runs. You got to provide offense. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I probably agree with you on that. And I think growing up in the 2010s, I kind of always thought that too. I'm like, I always thought Mauer was a little bit better than Yadi. Yadi had the longer tenure, but yeah, man, I'm probably going with Mauer as well.
I think he's the best catcher of the 21st century. Even better than Ivan Rodriguez. Personally.
That's not the, granted, Ivan was more of a 90s guy, so I could see that.
And he had some good years afterwards, and he never served a suspension, but there's been PED allegations as old as time.
Yeah.
He lost 40 pounds in one offseason, which I used to say it was evidence of him taking PEDs, but I lost like 30 in a month. So I can't really hate him on it. I'm not taking beds. So,
I hear you.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, man. I think he's an easy first ballot Hall of Famer. And it looks like the voters are tending to agree with me. As for released ballots, he would be in the Hall of Fame right now. He's at 82%-ish, maybe more, maybe less by now.
Yeah.
But when I saw it, he was at 82. So I'm all right with it when he gets in, man. I loved watching his game.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Joe Mauer. Congratulations. Probably making it this year. The next guy, it's our boy, Andy Pettitte.
Oh, God.
I don't know
this is so tough.
It is because, look, as a Yankee fan, I'm going to have to put my bias aside here. His regular season numbers, are very borderline in itself. But I think the postseason, stats and moments and what he has done in his career, the rings, I'm going to give it to him. I think I'll slightly lean yes, then I'd rather slightly lean no. I get it if he doesn't make it, but I think he's worthy. I don't think it would be the end of the world if Andy Pettitte got into the Hall of Fame. Granted, there is the PEDs thing with him as well.
Mm-hmm.
That probably hurts him a lot. So, like I said, I'm not going to be upset if he doesn't make it, but I think I lean yeah. I think I would.
Yeah. The question with him is, how much should winning matter?
Yeah.
I'm somebody who I always prioritize winning. I just do.
Yep.
For baseball, right? Because it's the same standard. Why people said Joe DiMaggio was better than Ted Williams. It's the thing that kept Don Mattingly out of the Hall of Fame. The only great Yankee to not win a ring. Obviously, yep. Judge still playing. Garrett Cole still playing. So I always have a soft spot for guys to win the most amount of games. 18 seasons played, 8 World Series appearances, 5 rings.
Insane.
ALCS MVP. And in the 2005 World Series, kind of funny enough, the other side of the coin to him, Mark Burhle, who was basically the same regular season pitcher without the postseason, success, was better than Oswalt and Clemens for the Astros. But they're on the same team. So I would maybe say yes. The PED thing, it is different than other guys. First of all, he admitted to it twice, using it twice after the fact. 04 and 02, he said he was coming back from injuries. He felt he had a responsibility to get back as soon as possible for the team.
Yeah.
Didn't deny it. Didn't lie about it. I don't even know if he served a suspension because I think it was after the fact it came out. He was named in one of the reports. So with other PED users lying, selling guys out, doing this, that, and the other, he never served a suspension that I can recall and owned up to it right away. I don't know, man. I think he should be in. And I think people are going to say, but you dismissed Mark Burhle right away. The postseason, man. And the postseason numbers are not great. The ERA isn't as low as I thought it would be. It is a ERA of 3.81 in 44 games played.
Yeah, that's insane.
And listen, not only that,
2 extra seasons right there.
Dude, his 162 game average for games started 34. So he basically started a season and a third in the postseason.
Yeah. Absolutely
insane.
Absolutely nuts.
That is insane.
Absolutely nuts.
Honestly, that's nuts.
It's insane.
That is nuts. And he hit that RBI in the 2009 World Series.
Yeah.
He raked. I mean, dude.
Why not, bro? Let's get him in there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, dude.
Unbelievable. And in the postseason, why not? 19-11 with a 3.81 ERA. Once again, for younger viewers or whatever, people getting into baseball now that didn't follow it in the 2000s, ERA now and then is way different.
Yes.
It's way different now than it was then. That was the steroid era he was playing in, and you saw it.
Yep.
So I don't know what the calculation is, but I would imagine 381 now is probably like 325 then.
Yeah. Yeah, and Pettite should have made the All-Star team in 05. Went 17-9, 2.39 ERA at the height of the steroid era. 171 strikeouts. He should have been an All-Star that year. He was 5th for Cy Young. That's good enough.
It's one of those things. Part of me feels like the All-Star thing, because of that, they always should have had an MLB the way there's always been All NBA, All Pro.
Yeah, exactly. That could help out a lot of guys.
All NHL. I think that maybe this would actually be fun for us to do. Go back and look at seasons and do like an All MLB for past seasons.
Exactly.
That would be fun.
Hell yeah, dude.
Why not? It's the off season. We gotta make content.
Exactly. Hell yeah.
But that would be kind of interesting. to see how many guys' careers would be totally different.
Right.
If look at Bobby Abreu.
Yeah.
He might be the poster boy for that. 2-time All-Star. And it's maybe if you sat down and actually looked at it, maybe 2-time All-Star, but 10-time All-Pro or whatever.
Exactly.
I love Andy Pettitte. He's borderline. He's probably not going to get in.
Yeah.
I'd probably vote for him.
Yeah, I
Rings,
think
man.
I would just lean. Yeah.
I can't believe the best dynasty in baseball history, the 90s Yankees, just given the difficulty of that era compared to other eras and whatnot, and the amount of teams and whatever. Having 2 Hall of Famers, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, right. It should have been
that does not seem right. Everybody that was on the Steel Curtain is in the Hall of Fame. Everybody in the Purple People Eaters are in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
They're giving rings away for guys that played on the 50 Celtics.
That's what I say. Yeah, those 50s, 60s Celtics teams, like everyone on that team's a Hall of Famer. Like,
it's
crazy.
It's ridiculous that it's just Rivera and Jeter.
Right. It's crazy. Like, Roger Clemens was there. 7 Cy Youngs.
David Cone
was there. Posada, is a name you could throw out there.
One and done. One and done. Bernie Williams, the best player, didn't get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think Bernie should be Hall of Famer. But like I said,
it's weird. It's a weird feeling.
It is.
So his is all about wins, and I love wins.
Brandon Philllips is our next name now.
Oh, fun player to watch now.
Fun player? I just don't think so. Yeah, kind of. Even when he was playing, I never thought Hall of Famer. Never once was like, oh yeah, Brandon Philllips, Hall of Famer. Awesome prime. Very underrated, I would say. Yeah, he just doesn't do it for me, man. The slash line's not there. Awesome defender. This defense might carry him a little bit. Only 2,000 hits in a 17-year career. 211 home runs. Only 209 stolen. He's in the 200 club. 200 home runs, 200 stolen bases. It's an impressive career. It's not Hall of Fame to me at all.
3-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove winner, a Silver Slug winner, 28.4 wins above replacement. Brandon, I love you. I loved watching you play. Not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. All right. Here's a fun name. Manny Ramiriez. How are we feeling about Manny Ramiriez? I might have an answer that surprises people that I know and love.
One of my favorite players ever.
He should be a Hall of Famer. I'll say it as a diehard Yankee fan. He should be a Hall of Famer.
I don't think there's too many players I wanted to see more in pinstripes than Manny Ramiriez.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I loved watching him play. The only problem is he got caught for PEDs twice.
Yes, that's a big.
So it wasn't this wasn't pre-testing. He failed twice.
Yes.
The stats are ridiculous. When he was in Cleveland, he was a man amongst boys. When he was with Boston, he was the best player on 04. People are going to look at Big Papi and whatnot, but it was Manny. It was Manny, Big Papi, everyone else.
Yep.
And the personality and longevity of David Ortiz, the fact he was basically always a Red Sox, David Ortiz. He was with the Twins for like 5 minutes and the Mariners for 5 more.
Yep.
But Manny was their best player. He was really the catalyst, the tip of the spear that ended the streak, right? And then he also won a ring in 07. He's a winner, good player, failed 2 drug tests. If he's not in, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
If he's in, I'm not whining about it. Mike Piazza admitted to taking Andruw in his book. So there's already confirmed PED user in the Hall of Fame.
That's what I was kind of get at here. Like, yeah, Manny screwed up twice by failing twice. But, Ortiz is in, Piazza's in, Ivan's in. It's like, all right. Like Bagwell, where is the line truly drawn? I feel like the voters or whoever, they really don't have a legit line drawn. So that's why I'm like, let's get Clemens in there. Let's get Bonds in there. Let's get A-Rod and Manny. And so I'm a pretty big advocate in getting these, black sheep of the sport into the Hall of Fame now. It's like, where's the line truly drawn? So I'm going to go Manny into the Hall.
I understand that, but I could draw it pretty easily and say he actually got suspended.
Yeah.
And that's the line. You know, that's the only thing is, once again, if he's in, I'm not whining about it. If he's not in, I'm not whining about it. I'm very indifferent on Manny Ramiriez. It's kind of, for me, it's hard not to be. Even though I loved watching him play, and I always enjoyed it. Cover of MVP the baseball 2005, loved it.
Yep.
But I just, man, what a fun player to watch. All-time home run leader in the postseason.
Nope. Yeah, I don't know. I just think, you know, he should be in, man. Because who wasn't really on roids, you know, in that era, dude? No one knew, you know. It was just like so different back then. I'm on the same boat with you. I think he should be in, but I get why he's not in. I get it, but I don't know. I truly think 20 years from now or whatever, I think we're gonna see a lot of these guys just come in and we're gonna be like, yeah, that was dumb. You know, that was dumb that this guy's wearing, and I feel like that's what's gonna happen. So yeah, I personally vote Manny in. The next guy, Jose Reyes. What an electric guy when he first came up with the Mets. I think his career kind of died out too quick. I'm gonna say no for him. But God, when he was coming up, dude, I would have thought this guy could be a Hall of Famer if he keeps this up, but that flame died out really quick.
It was such a bizarre era for shortstops.
Yep.
The 90s had Nomar, Jeter, Vizquel, A-Rod, and there was one more. I always forget. I think he might have been with the Cubs. He had like a little run there, and I always forget the dude's name. But there was like that iconic like GQ photo or whatever with Nomar, A-Rod, Jeter, and then this other guy who I always forget. So you had all these good shortstops, and then they all got hurt or moved to third base. And then Jeter was the last man standing. Then you had this new crop of shortstops come in, and that was Jose, Tulowitzki, Hanley Ramirez, and maybe a few more who I'm just kind of forgetting. I guess Andrelton Simmons probably around that time too. And all of them panned out. All of them flamed out. Tulowitzki was bogged down with injuries, unfortunately. Hanley Ramirez the same. Jose Reyes fell off a cliff.
Jimmy Rollins.
Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah.
Jimmy Rollins was 02, but yeah.
Yeah.
Or 99, I think it was Jimmy Rollins' rookie year. But so it was this weird era of shortstops, but Jose Reyes was probably like the best National League shortstop of that era, aside from Tulowitzki. He was a wicked base stealer. Led the league in stolen bases, 3-4 times?
3 times just in a row.
Remembering?
Whoa.
So
to 260 burgers and a 70 burger, almost an 80 burger.
72, so what, 78?
Yep, 78.07. Yep, 78.07. Yep.
Yeah, so he was really good. Career stolen bases, 517. An above average hitter for his career, or 103 OPS plus. And why don't we just omit his last year at the Mets, 2018? I wonder what it would be. A 62 OPS plus, a 189 batting average. If you just got rid of that entire season.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's finished with 512 stolen bases if you got rid of that year.
Yeah, you're still in the 500 stolen base club, and you probably bump up your whole slash line a little bit. Yeah, you're still at 2,000. You're still at 2,100 hits, and you're still at You're at 141 home runs, and you know he was a leadoff guy. You know, didn't really hit for power too much anyway. So you're kind of looking at his hits, his batting average, OPS plus, or stolen bases. Yeah, I think it was just after 2011. Well, once he left Queens the first time, it was just kind of like that flame just died out. Yeah, it just died out bad.
I feel like why?
I feel like it's just maybe like a uniform thing. I don't know, or a ballpark thing. I'm not too sure. If he just would have stayed with the Mets his whole career, he probably would have been a Hall of Famer. I think
you're right.
Yeah. And then obviously on the other end of the spectrum, we got David Wright. You know, the problem with him was just staying healthy. That was it. He stays healthy. Reyes stays. You know, and that's why, you know, on our other program, we were like, the Mets need to keep Pete Alonso. They need this franchise guy. They lost Reyes. It would have been a totally different book, but it is what it is right in front of us, though. We have the stats. I just think he misses it. That flame died out way too quick. Way too quick, which is sad because he was on a fucking awesome pace, dude.
Although I do think the Mets should consider retiring his number.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I'd agree with that. Number 7, right? Yeah, that 7 was iconic in Queens, dude. Iconic.
Dude, you go to Mets games, you still see a bunch of Reyes shirts and jerseys.
Yeah, jersey retirements definitely should be in the books for him. I agree with that.
I'd say the most popular jersey or shirt you see at Citi Field is David Wright. After that is probably, not as much DeGrom anymore, but definitely DeGrom during his peak was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And then you would see a hodgepodge of Alonso, Lindor, but Reyes is always in there. Strawberry's always in there. Keith Hernandez is always in there.
Yeah.
So the fans still love him. They still like him.
Yeah, he finished his career there,
And listen, he was punished enough. He had to go to the failed Miami Marlins super team.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a crazy team. All right.
Burhle, your guy.
Yeah, Mark Burhle, yep. Now Dan Uggla, I think he was still there. My boy, you already know the answer I'm going to have for this one. Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, almost I'm not even looking at Baseball Reference here. I'm just going to name it. 3,000 hits, 696 home runs, 4 away from 700. He got blackballed. He should have had 700. I'm sure his slash line's insane. 09 World Series champion. They don't win in 09 without A-Rod. 3 MVPs?
Yep.
Hall of Famer. Probably my favorite player of all time. Love A-Rod. I know the suspension, the PEDs. I don't care. I don't care. He should be a Hall of Famer. It's like I said, if Piazza, Ivan, Ortiz, we all know these guys did roids. When the people voted them in, they all know they did roids. Some got caught, some did it. Get this guy in the Hall of Fame, dude. 700 bombs pretty much and 3,000 hits with the ring. Probably the most talented baseball player we've ever witnessed.
Mm-hmm.
Best prospect of all time. I'm saying yes for Alex Rodriguez.
3-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, 1 ring, 2 Gold Gloves, 10 Silver Sluggers, batting title, 3-time TSN Major League Player of the Year. Good for him.
Animal.
Led the league in total bases 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Led the league in RBIs 2 times. Both of them, he had 142 in one year, 146 in another year. His 162 game average is 121 RBIs. 2086 RBIs total.
He was a video game, dude, his whole career. He's insane.
And he's doing this all while hitting 295.
Yep.
As his career average. Led the league in hits 1 year. Led the league in runs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Durable, led the league in games played. He played 160 or more games 1, 2, 3, 4 times throughout his 22-year career. 150 more, a few more times. Excellent player. For him, it's not just a matter of is he a Hall of Famer? It's you could genuinely argue he's the best player ever.
Yep. Hands
the
down.
problem is he took steroids, got caught with it, got suspended for it. Now, on the one hand, you can say he served his punishment.
Yep.
That's the difference between guys who got caught cheating and guys who didn't.
Yep.
They actually served their punishments.
And he also admitted to it, too. So, I mean,
he admitted to it after a lot of poking and prodding by Mike Francesa.
Yeah. But
so I'll slow down with that a bit. But if he's kind of like Manny Ramiriez, if he's not in, I get it. If he's in, I'm not mad. I'm indifferent on. But I my first Yankees shirt as a kid was an A-Rod shirt.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I think this guy should be in. Is he gonna get it? No, he's not.
Dated Madonna and J-Lo. I mean,
yeah,
numbers.
He did it on and off the field, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Rodriguez, come on.
True two-way player.
Come on. We should get a petition going. Let's get this man in the Hall of Fame. Come on. Super likable guy. I mean, in his playing days, he was kind of a bit of a diva, but he's really matured, and we see him on, doing commentary now. Yeah, he's awesome, man. I think down the line, like I said with Manny, I think 20, 30 years from now or some shit, I think a lot of these guys are going to get in. I think it's just what's going to happen. Yeah. So it's a yes for me for A-Rod. The next name is another Rodriguez. We're going from A-Rod to K-Rod. Yeah, I mean, this guy was a top 3 closer of his generation, has the most saves in a season. Yeah, I'm saying yeah for K-Rod.
Yeah, he's in.
Yeah,
he's in. He's got what, 3rd or 4th most saves, right? You were
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I always forget between him and Wagner who has more, but it's very close. 437 saves for his career. I think he's ahead of Wagner.
Yeah.
437 saves for his career. Led the all-time record. 62 saves in the season.
62 in the season. Most saves in the
2008.
season.
Led the league in saves 3 times. How many? 2 times reliever of the year. Should probably have more than that. He led the league in saves 3 times. How does he not have 3 relievers of the year? 6-time All-Star. Came up as a rookie in 2002 and struck out Barry Bonds in the World Series.
Yep.
Not only that, but he also, I mean, he was instrumental in that World Series ring. He didn't close it out. Troy Percival was still the closer, but he was the setup man for Troy Percival. And 6 straight outs in the World Series. How can you beat it?
Yep.
Excellent player. The only reason he's not in the Hall of Fame is because he's a reliever. And that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I remember
it's a position in the sport.
Some dumbass wrote an article, an actual voter. I forget who, Upton Sinclair's freaking left nut is who fucking wrote this. But this guy said, this was, I think, last year or 2 years ago. He didn't vote for anybody. He said, because the Coors effect, steroids, and I only vote for real pitchers. That's what he said. That was
real
his direct
pitch.
quote.
Oh my God.
And I thought to myself, I want to be clear here. I graduated college with a history degree. I wanted to be a history teacher. When I read that was the moment I was like, I could do this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Anybody that will sit there until they're blue in the face and tell me that K-Rod and Billy Wagner aren't Hall of Famers, you don't know ball. You don't know ball.
Yeah.
400 to me, if there's a magic number for 500 saves, 3,000 hits, whatever, what's the magic number for saves? Make it 400. 400 and you're in. That's 5 guys. Hoffman, Rivera, K-Rod, Wagner, and I think John Franco.
Yeah.
John Franco, not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Yeah, and
it's so stupid.
And I really hate that quote. I really hate that quote when he says real pitchers. What more real?
What are you? Well, who are you?
That and what more real does it get? Bottom the 9th, like playoffs. The ball is in your hand, 3-2 game. It's on you. I don't think it's any more real than that. We've seen it time and time again. Altuve hitting off Chapman in 2019. Like,
yeah.
You need look at Josh Hader. Josh Hader's about to get north of over 100 million. It's like, dude, closer's a bullpen and a closer is so important. Yeah, sure. So what? You're telling me innings 1 through 5 are more important than 5 through 9 or 6 through 9, whatever? Like, inning 7, 8, 9, you got to win the game there, man. Like, especially in the 9th inning, it's such an oh my God, it's such an important position, dude. Without Mariano Rivera, man, the Yankees might not have like 1999 under their belt, like they might have 1 or 2 less World Series. So to say closers and the bullpen are not real pitchers, that's a horrible take. That's a terrible take.
I think I forget the cat's name. I think he might have been a Tigers beat writer.
Oh, of course.
I think maybe I could be wrong. I forget the guy's name. I don't want to. I know people are going to say he just doesn't want to ruffle feathers. I'm unhinged. Like if I knew the guy's name, I would say this douche. This guy, not you. Him. Yes, him.
That is one of the worst takes I've ever heard in my life.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
That's terrible.
It was so bad. Honestly, if I was his editor, I'd come in and say, you know what, man?
You're done.
You're done. How can you be objective if you say something like that? And the fact of the matter is, he's not the only one who thinks that.
Yeah, dude, it's terrible.
It's, people say Billy Wagner's not a Hall of Famer because he doesn't have the postseason stats. K-Rod shows up with the postseason stats. Why isn't he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, exactly.
K-Rod's postseason pitching numbers. All right. So he has 3 saves in the postseason. Like I said, a bulk of his postseason work came when he was in Anaheim, setting up Troy Percival. 2.95 career ERA, a 54 ERA when he was with the Angels. One game against Boston, 0.1 inning pitched, gave up 1 home run, 2 runs. So I once again, kind of like the game we're playing, if you take out one bad start or one bad season with Jose Reyes, take that out for K-Rod, what's that ERA looking like? You know?
Exactly, yeah.
36 innings of work. For closers, that's usually what? 36 games. They usually pitch only 1 inning, right?
Yep.
2.95 ERA, why not?
Yeah.
That's a half decent season.
Yeah, he should definitely be in.
And a 5-4 record in the playoffs. Obviously, losses are easier to come by for closers. They usually don't get wins. They usually get saves. Put him in.
Yeah.
And he got a win in 0-2 in the World Series against the Giants.
Yeah. Easily Hall of Famer. One of the best closers of all time. Jimmy Rollins is our next name up. Legendary shortstop for the Philadelphia Phillies. I actually forgot he went to the Dodgers and White Sox. I just saw that. I thought he was a lifelong Philly. But yeah, he went to the Dodgers and White Sox. We kind of forget about those years. Not important. He has the MVP in 07. Really good year. Awesome defensively. Lifetime average of 264. Below average, 95 OPS plus career. A lot of triples. 470 stolen bases. Got the ring in 08. I'll be honest, man. I like Rollins. He was a talent to watch. I just don't think Hall of Fame really applies to him. I'll be honest. 3-time All-Star.
I think this is our first disagreement.
Might be.
I think Jimmy Rollins is a Hall of Famer, man.
It's a good peak. It's just not really screaming to me Hall of Fame. Like, look, watching him, yes, he was like, I would think this guy would be a Hall of Famer from like 01 to maybe like 09, 08. The rest of that career gets pretty bad, dude. It's like 2011 to the end of his career is pretty bad. Like, again, the Jose Reyes argument. If you take out a year or so, it looks a lot better. Dude, you're going to have to take out 2010 to 2016. Like, you take that out, I would probably vote him in the Hall of Fame from 2000 to 09. Still a little short for me. 246 batting average from 2010 to 2016. 91 OPS plus. It's just watching him was different. Watching him in his prime, you would think, hell yeah. Looking at the whole body of work itself, it's very borderline. I'm gonna go no. I'm gonna go slightly no here. I hate to say because I do love him. I love watching him grow up, but I didn't realize how ugly the end of his career was.
I didn't realize how bad the end of his career was, but 470 stolen bases, 49.6 career WAR on Fangraphs, which has a heavier defensive weight than Baseball Reference does.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. 231 home runs, the MVP award. He has the accolades, right? A couple of All-Stars, a couple of Gold Gloves, things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. 3-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove winner, Silver Slugger. The ring. It's just I just always really liked him. Like he is one of those players that I always kind of thought of as just watching him play. You're right. It did fall off pretty astronomically. You're right.
Yeah. You know what? But, and I'll say this. I think just talking about his body of work is reminding me too much of Jose Reyes. So I'm definitely going to say no. Point. Yeah. So
be consistent.
I'm going to say no to both. But if it isn't already, his number should definitely be retired by the Phillies, hands down. Definitely for Rollins for sure.
For his career, 95 OPS plus, below 100, so below average in that regard.
I thought it'd be higher, to be honest.
I thought so too. All right, maybe I misspoke before I really digged into the stats. I always just thought of him as it's a Hall of Fame.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Though, like when we grew up, the Yankees versus the Phillies in 09, you would have thought Ryan Howard, Jeter, Utley, Rollins, A-Rod, all these guys, Bobby Abreu, Johnny Damon, whoever. You would have thought all those guys have been Hall of Famers growing up. That's how I thought about it. Now I'm just looking at it. I'm like, the MVP's nice. The MVP's nice. The ring's great. But it's like outside of 07, 08, nothing else much is really doing it for me. The All-Stars are nice. The Gold Gloves are good. One Silver Slugger that MVP year. Kind of crazy. He wasn't even an All-Star in 07. He should have an extra All-Star under his belt. So, like we said, for that topic, we might do in the future, doing all MLB teams. He's definitely going to get 07. Yeah, it's like fun name. Should get his number retired in Philly. I just don't see it. He's been on the ballot for a few years now, I think. Second or third year. I don't think he's looking too good for him.
Yeah, the thing that sucks is he started to have leg injuries in 2010.
That's when the fall off really begins.
And that's the thing is like once he started having leg injuries, a guy that relied so much on speed and athleticism.
Yeah.
Man, it really really sucks. Like,
and that probably robbed him of 500 stolen bases as well, because he was still snagging 30 stolen bases after that the next two seasons, 2011, 2012, playing almost full seasons, 156 games, 160 games. Very durable player. I'll give him that too, outside of 2010. Yeah, it just sucks, dude. If he had maybe two more All-Star seasons from 2010, 2016, he probably gets my vote. It's probably such a game changer. He just got screwed at the wrong time. He was on top of the world and then got screwed. Back-to-back World Series appearances in 08, 09, the MVP in 07. Just making a superstar name for himself. Then falls off.
Sucks. All right, so I have some notes here, all right? Well, what if maybe these will change your mind? One of 11 players and the only shortstop in baseball history to hit at least 200 home runs and steal more than 400 bases.
Very impressive.
His 81.74% stolen base rate is the best of that group.
Wow.
He hit 200. Wait, I don't know why I had a weird pop-up show up saying that it wasn't loading when it is loading. He hit 231 home runs and 470 stolen bases. Only 4 players had more homers and steals in their careers. Bonds, Henderson, Joe Morgan, Paul Molitor, all Hall of Famers. Mm-hmm. 6 primary shortstops with at least 800 extra career base hits. He's one of 6 shortstops. The other 5 are already in the Hall of Fame. He's one of 13 players with at least 500 doubles, 100 triples, and 200 home runs. 11 of them are in the Hall of Fame, and I'm guessing actually, I don't know who they would be, but I would guess probably some PED guys are in there or something like that. They don't say who.
Probably A-Rod and stuff, yeah.
He is one of only 4 players to hit at least 30 doubles and 20 home runs and steal at least 30 bases in 4 different seasons. I'm glad I found this is the original article that changed my mind on Jimmy Rollins I read years ago.
Those are a lot of fun stats, for sure.
It is. The only thing that sucks is it is kind of like cut up.
It's cut up, and it's like you're banking on like this prime we're talking about here, this 01, 09, and then it's like, he has that legendary 30 double, 20 triple, 30 home run season. That's the 07 year. And it's 1 year. He
is one of 4 members of the Hall of the 20-20-20 club, meaning 20 plus triples, 20 plus doubles, homers, and steals in the season. Did it 4 times. And he's the only player to do that while also tallying 200 hits.
That's insane.
I'm sorry, he didn't do that 4 times. He did it. He's one of 4 members. That's what confused me.
Yeah, he's one of 4 members.
So he had his peak was excellent.
Insane. Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I guess it's kind of like the shortstop equivalent to Andruw Jones. How good is your peak? Should it matter? Should it not matter? Kind of a thing. Yeah. Once he started losing the athleticism after all the calf injuries in the 10, it fell off drastically.
Yeah.
As a guy that's like a contact speed guy, that hurts. So I would say Jimmy Rollins is in the Hall of Fame. A lot of people are pushing for him to be in the Hall of Fame. So I actually do think he's pretty likely, all things considered.
Yeah.
Because people look at the peak and we're like, yeah, he was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But I also understand your argument of it just didn't last long enough.
Yeah.
And there's other guys that had not as good, but better overall because they did it longer. Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm also going to point this out. Outside of 2000, that was only a 14-game sample size. Full season wise, he never batted 300. He never had over a 4 OBP season. That 09 season, I'm looking at it, dude. 296 on base percentage. It's not screaming to me. His stats are fun. His counting stats are so fun from 2001 to 09. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just not screaming to me. Seeing Jose Reyes, I got to stay consistent. But
fair enough.
But fun, explosive player, though, in his prime, for sure. I might just have to say no.
And now here we have the forgotten Brewer, Gary Sheffield. Did you know he came up as a Brewer?
I only knew that because I have his rookie card.
Oh, yeah. People always forget Gary Sheffield.
Yeah.
Started his career.
Yeah. He was all right with the Brewers, and he got traded to what? San Diego, right?
Yeah, you're right. And then it was the Marlins for a while.
Yeah. Sheffield, he's like the Shaq of like MLB. He's like the rainbow. Like he played for the Marlins, the Dodgers, the Braves, the Yankees, Tigers, Mets.
I wish I could meet him and ask him why. Why was there so many teams you were on, man?
Yeah. I actually read up about his life for like his career kind of recently. And Milwaukee, I think, was just like attitude. He was a young up and coming player. I think it's like a lot of attitude. Playing time wasn't really there either. Requested to get traded, went to San Diego, balled out San Diego. Had great success with Miami, Florida Marlins at the time, World Series champ. That monster 1996 season, 42 home runs, led the league in OBP, OPS plus. And then,
oh my God.
And then, he kind of went to some contenders at the time, went to Dodgers and the Braves, and had monster seasons from 99 to 05, shared by the Dodgers, Braves, and Yankees. 500 career bombs, career MVP candidate. He should be in the Hall of Fame. And yeah, he has steroids over against him. I don't think he ever got caught. I don't think there's any like real proof of that. But I know there's rumors.
Yeah.
He was a baller, man. He was a baller.
He was named in like reports and whatnot, but you're right. He never served the suspension. And if David Ortiz never served a suspension, then like I that's for me, that's the cutoff. Is if were you suspended? No, then you're in the Hall of Fame. That's my opinion.
Yeah. 500 bombs, man. 292 average, a whopping 140 OPS plus for his career. Get this man in the Hall.
All that is impressive. All those stats, that's not the most impressive thing for me. He had all those power numbers and had 304 more walks than strikeouts for his career.
Insane, dude.
So he wasn't just swinging at it. Very disciplined at the plate.
Yep.
Very disciplined at the plate.
Dude,
I do kind of think maybe some of those attitude problems might be why he won't get it.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting all-stars when he definitely should have been. I kind of got the impression during the Jeter doc series that maybe Gary Sheffield wasn't the easiest to play with.
He was.
Some of the comments he made about people and whatnot. I was like,
yeah.
Okay. All right. So
yeah,
maybe he doesn't get in on a committee or something like that, but I do think he should get in.
He should.
And the PED argument for Gary Sheffield, I forget the specifics of it. I probably should have looked it up, but it's very like shaky.
Yeah.
And most of it stems from he worked out with guys that did steroids.
Yeah.
And
it was Barry, right? He worked on Barry Bonds, pretty sure.
So did Ken Griffey Jr. The three of them were friends.
Yeah.
He wasn't aware at the time that the cream he was using was steroids.
Yeah.
He was working out with Barry Bonds, and Barry Bonds, I guess, hooked him up with it.
Yeah.
And
he should be a Hall of Famer, though, man. And I'll say this. This might be a little out of pocket, but people talk about his attitude or whatever. Dude, Ty Cobb's in the Hall of Fame. This dude was a notoriously racist, bro. And granted, different time. We're talking over 100 years ago. This guy was a scumbag, but
you did. I have to say, you didn't realize you did just strike a nerve with me because the Ty Cobb thing, if you look into it, it's not true.
Really? That's not true?
The movie, the Tommy Lee Jones movie that's based on that book, if you look into it, the guy who wrote the book was a con man.
Really?
And the Ty Cobb's real life story wasn't fascinating enough, so he threw in a bunch of stuff.
That I didn't know.
His parents were abolitionists in Georgia.
Oh shit!
So he grew up wanting, and he was on record a few times advocating for integration in baseball. And he wound up becoming friends with Bill Russell or something like that.
Interesting.
I forget what happened there. Bill Russell was his favorite athlete or something like that.
I actually didn't know because you
interesting.
Constantly see now on Twitter and stuff. And I'm like,
I'll flip it the other way and say Cap Anson's in the Hall of Fame, and that guy literally went out of his way to desegregate baseball.
Okay,
I mean to segregate baseball. And Kennesaw Mountain Landis, the guy who made the quote unquote character clause, was a part of that. So the character clause to me is nonsense. If it's not going to get Dale Murphy in the Hall of Fame, then it shouldn't keep Kurt Schilling out of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so it might not have been Ty Cobb. There's a lot of older guys.
Dude, there's plenty of guys.
Notorious
Rogers, Hornsby, guys.
And if Sheffield's saying some diva shit, who cares, dude? Like, I mean, come on.
It's one thing to be a diva. It's another thing to just be like, you know what? People who look differently than me can honestly like not be on the same.
Not partake in this. Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, but I actually know that though about the author of that.
It's interesting. You should look into it. It's pretty wild.
I gotta check that out. So yeah, Gary Sheffield, I think should be in. I think this might be the easiest one. James Shields, no. Next.
Yeah, you're right.
Next. What are we doing here? James Shields, come on.
Dude. I would like to say for James Shields, though, I feel bad that his career will always be known as the guy who gave up the home run to Bartolo Colon and the guy who got traded for
Fernando
Tatis Jr. He had a good peak. It's just definitely not a Hall of Famer. I'm surprised he was even on the ballot.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, dude. He got traded for Fernando Tatis Jr. And this is what I remember him for. Having a 6.77 ERA the year he got traded for Fernando Tatis, who's going to be, a generational guy, and then lead the league in losses in his final year, 2018. So his White Sox career went 16-35, 5.31 career ERA, a 1.447 WHIP. Jesus Christ.
Continue.
Yeah, it's just that's what I'll always remember him for. So I feel like I can't have that name in the Hall of Fame. Sorry, James Shields. Sorry. But
definitely not a Hall of Famer, only a one-time All-Star, 4 career ERA, excuse me. The one thing I'll tip my cap off to, this Heat Hats line right here, so tip it off to James Shields. Probably going to go down as the last man to pitch 10 complete games.
Yeah.
11. So I'll tip my cap off to him for that. But you're right. Definitely not a Hall of Famer. 2011, that was his... I don't know why these pages keep not loading.
That was probably his best shot. Yeah, 16-12, 282, just 8 innings.
Good for him.
Games. Yeah, monster year.
Good for him. Not a Hall of Famer.
Agreed.
Next, Chase Utley. Definitely a Hall of Famer for me. Best second baseman I've ever seen.
I had a feeling you were going to say Hall of Famer for him. And
definitely.
And I will say this. For a while, I always thought he wasn't. But looking into the numbers more and, like, the position, second base is very, very thin. And, like, he was the cream of the crop, at 2B. Probably not just even in his era, possibly all time. Insane peak with Philly. Again, kind of has that Jose Reyes, Jimmy Rollins fall off a little bit. But the counted numbers aren't really there. But I will say the slash line is 275 career average, 465 slugging career, 117 OPS plus, way above average. Best hidden second baseman, maybe next to Cano in that era. That's about it.
Yeah, and Cano, I know I'm sending like a broken record here. Cano and Altuve cheating.
Yeah.
People can say this. I'm just going to say this because it's never going to come up again. People can say Altuve, if you look at the bangs, he didn't benefit from it. Bullshit. What about those RBIs? What about his runs scored? When there's a guy on base, people pitch differently to you.
Yeah.
So he cheated just as much as everybody else did.
Yep.
You know, it's like being in a car with a drunk driver. They crash and kill someone, and you turn around and say, yeah, it sucks. I wasn't the one driving, but I let my friend who was drunk drive.
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, that's why I say Utley was the best I'd seen. I started watching baseball 06, 07. And Cano, the PEDs, Utley, better than those guys, as good, maybe on face value as those guys. Factoring that in, I think better. As far as his career amongst second basemen, he is 12th all-time in WAR, ahead of numerous Hall of Famers. Behind the only non-Hall of Famers ahead of him, Robinson Cano, not on the ballot yet. Bobby Grich should be in the Hall of Fame. He's ahead of advanced analytic darling Lou Whitaker and the other advanced analytic darling Willie Randolph. Ahead of Hall of Famers Roberto Alomar, Craig Biggio, Joe Gordon, Billy Herman, Bobby Doerr from the Red Sox, Nellie Fox from the White Sox, Bid McPhee, Tony Lazzeri of the Yankees, Johnny Evers, Red Schoten Heist, Bill Mazeroski, Miller Huggins, some guys that were getting in back when the committees first started and they're just putting their friends in just for the hell of it. Bucky Harris, who's 142 in career WAR for second baseman. John Henry Lloyd, who's behind WAR. He's already this guy, John Henry Lloyd, is already behind Gleyber Torres in WAR. And Luis Reyes.
Wow.
And Luis Reyes.
Yeah, so, I would say Utley gets my vote. I think just how shallow second base is and like how well he was at his prime. I think it narrows down to for 2B, Hall of Famer.
And a fun stat for players that have 150 or more stolen bases, ranks 150 or more stolen bases. He's 154, or it's 100. I forget what the parameter is, but somehow, some way, he has the highest stolen base percentage ever for this threshold of 100 or 150.
Really?
More. The highest ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's he didn't steal a lot, but when he did, it mattered.
Yeah, he was barely
a 5-tool player, man.
Yeah, he never wow. Yeah, he only got caught stealing 22 times and 154. Yeah, that's really good for a non-stolen base guy, really.
Yeah, just a good base runner. Just outthought the opponent. Just really good. 117. I just love watching Chase Utley, man.
No, he was an animal. Utley. He was an animal. Him, Ryan Howard, and just a guy we're talking about before.
You know how I feel about Ryan Howard.
Yeah,
that's my guy. That is my guy.
Insane prime. Insane.
What could have been?
Yep. All right, so we agree on Utley. I think this one's pretty easy too. Omer Vizquel. No, I don't think.
It has nothing to do with the field of play. He should have been. The thing that sucks, I said this to Brandon the other day, a friend of ours. I said, he should. The thing that sucks is he's going to be out because allegations and whatnot came out while he was on the ballot when he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. He should have been. 11 Gold Gloves, 2,800 hits. He should have been. It's
24 years and 24
I understand I understand he's a compiler and whatnot, and if you really look at it, he wasn't a good hitter. He just outlasted everybody else. But if you hit 3,000 hits, you're magically in. Craig Biggio wasn't anything to write home about either. So
the fact he played 24 years and even hit 3,000, that's just
I get it.
82 OPS plus. I don't know.
I get it. I get it. 11 Gold Gloves, right?
No, very impressive. That's the only thing holding him. Like the thing with Torii Hunter and Andruw Jones, all their Gold Gloves is they're actually freaking great hitters in their peak. So this guy was never a good hitter. Even like growing up, I was like, this guy's great defense. I don't know. The offense.
That's the thing. That's the thing with him is. Maybe I wouldn't with Vizquel. I do think the advanced analytics have some people that really like the defensive metrics for shortstops.
Yeah.
You see people online that will try to argue that he was as good as Jeter, and it's like, okay, no.
No.
But I will quote my manager, Kenny, who I used to work with, who college baseball player back in the day and obviously loves the game. If you're going to sit there and tell me that the 90s Cleveland Indians teams had 2 Hall of Famers in their lineup, and it was Jim Thome and fucking Omer Vizquel, I would say you're crazy. Kenny Lofton should be in. Bell should be in. He was a dick. But Albert Bell should be in.
Oh, don't get me started on Albert Bell.
That's what the guy said to me. And I always took what he said, like, he was very logical sports fan. Mm-hmm. So I'd say, like, interesting. Because this was back when the Vizquel started picking up of, like, look at the defensive metrics. Dude. And so I asked him, what do you think about him? You watched him play. And he just immediately said, like, absolutely not. And then all this came out afterwards. And I was like, I get it. And I think I said this to Brandon. I guess maybe this is why he wasn't first ballot to begin with. Maybe this was known that the guy was a dick. They just didn't know how bad it was. Now, look up the allegations at your own peril, I guess. But it's not good. Like, he's not a good guy. He's not. No, he's not getting in. He's probably going to fall off this year.
Yeah, definitely.
As more people start to hear when you look up Omer Vizquel and some of the first things in the search bar.
Ugh.
You need, I think, 5% to stay on. I don't think 5% of people, whatever that threshold is above, whoever votes for him, it's just that they don't know.
Yeah,
at this point,
exactly. Yeah, so. He's a definite no for me. But I want to go back to Albert Bell real quick, dude.
Sure, go ahead.
12 years. He had 381 home runs. And honestly, it's more like 10 years because his first 2 years he barely played. So from 1991 to 2000, this guy had 380 home runs. Are you kidding me? 389 doubles. Career OPS plus of 144. Oh, my God. His 162 game averages include 40 home runs, 130 ribbies, total bases, 347. Dude, come on. Albert Bell should have been the Hall of Fame since I was in elementary school. I don't know, dude. Get this guy in. What is
Same thing with Kenny Lofton.
Yeah, Kenny Lofton.
The fact that Kenny Lofton was one and done the same year as Posada is ridiculous.
God, dude.
Or it might have been Bernie Williams. One of them, they were one and done the same year. And it's like, how are you going to sit there and tell me Kenny Lofton's not a Hall of Famer?
Oh, dude, Kenny Lofton was great. Above average hitter, awesome base stealer. I think he has 600, 2,500 hits pretty much. Come on, what are we doing here? All those gold gloves. Come on.
Maybe that could be our first all MLB.
We should start from like 1990 and just go from 1990 on. Yeah.
Till when they came up with it, that'd be fun.
Little pastimes on the mic, all MLB teams. Let's do it. I'm down.
Yeah.
Our next name is Billy Wagner. We kind of already said it.
Yeah, we already kind of went over him.
Yeah.
If you want to pull up the stats, go ahead. Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer.
So I actually have a pretty good comp for this last one. And David Wright. I'm going to say no.
I agree with you. And
I only have one reason why.
You and I think alike, and I think you're going to hit the nail on the head here.
If Don Mattingly's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, David Wright should not be there.
That's it.
If Donnie Baseball was in the Hall of Fame, I would vote David Wright in because of how good he was. But Donnie Baseball's got that MVP. He has better stats. I think it's a better slash line, more home runs, whatever. David Wright actually might have more home runs. I'm not too sure, but their careers are pretty goddamn similar. They were both the captains. They ran New York. They only played for one team each. Injuries derailed both their careers. Donnie Baseball should be a Hall of Famer. David Wright, if Donnie, that's the only reason why. If Donnie Baseball was in the Hall of Fame, I would vote David Wright in, but that's just not the case.
You're right, because there would have been an established precedent.
Yep.
And you're right. David Wright, I think they should both be in the Hall of Fame. The thing that also hurts David Wright is it's not the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's Cooperstown. It's just MLB.
Yeah.
If this was like the NBA and it was international play, he had that World Baseball Classic gold medal. Mm-hmm. I think that would put him into the Hall of Fame because he's borderline.
Exactly.
But the fact that it doesn't count sucks.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget his last game. Oh my God. It broke my heart for the guy.
Yeah.
He gets taken out in the third inning. The game winds up being a snooze fest
Yeah.
Goes into extra innings. And I don't remember, and I didn't bother enough to look it up, but I think the guy that got the game-winning hit was the guy who came in for him. And I don't think that guy amounted to anything. I really don't.
Wow.
Or his spot in the lineup would have come up. He could have had his Jeter moment, and they took Mickey Callaway, took him out the third inning. Or fifth inning, something like that. I was watching it at Levittown Lanes with my friends.
Yeah.
In between while we were bowling. And man, that broke my heart for the guy.
Yeah, dude.
Ugh. Now we're talking about football.
Yeah. But real quick for David Wright, I do want to shout him out because he was a staple of 2000s baseball.
One of my favorite players ever. My favorite third baseman ever.
133 OPS plus career, 296 batting average career, 376 OBP, a whopping 491 slugging, 867 OPS, almost had 250 home runs, almost had 400 doubles. Yeah, man, career cut way too short due to injuries, but god damn, he was on to something, dude. He could have been one of the greats. Damn shame of injuries. Get him and Donnie both, and that's what I would say. But the fact that Donnie's not in, Dave, I'm sorry, I can't vote for you right now until Donnie gets in first. But
that would be a fun one to do.
Right?
We each pick. This is too many guys to do it, but we each pick, I guess, 50, 7 guys or 8 guys, something like that, and argue who we think should be in the Hall of Fame to see if the other one agrees. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
First name I'm writing down will be Keith Hernandez.
Oh, Hall of Famer. Hands down.
I don't understand how he's not in. The cocaine thing is keeping him out, but Paul Molitor and Tim Rock Reigns. Rock Reigns is in the Hall of Fame. I love Rock Reigns. Don't get me wrong. His name is Rock Reigns. It's awesome.
But come on.
But did you ever hear the Rock Reigns story of why he used to slide into first base? Slide into second base head first.
Why is that again?
He had a vial of cocaine in his back pocket when he used to play.
The 80s, man.
Different time. 80s. Paul Molitor is a Hall of Famer as well. He was also in the cocaine trial. They basically said it doesn't matter for anybody who isn't Keith Hernandez or Dave Parker. Everyone else, you're fine. These two are the only ones that we care about. I don't understand it.
Absolutely insane. Here's a little comparison, though, what I did with Torii Hunter and Andruw Jones earlier. It's damn close. And David Wright has the better slash line overall. I think Donnie's had the higher peak. At that point, their war is damn similar. Get these guys both in, man. What are we doing here? Careers cut too short, but these guys were legendary when they played. That's a guy, if you watch playing, if you watched the Yankees in the 80s, you thought Don Mattingly was going to be a for sure Hall of Famer. If you watched David Wright in the 2000s, the Mets, you would have thought for sure Hall of Famer. So,
and the weird thing is, the other one of Don Mattingly, who we would always get compared to career-wise, was Kirby Puckett. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. His career ended because he went blind.
Yep.
He got glaucoma.
Something like that, yeah.
I might be wrong on that, but he got some disease where he went blind. He couldn't play anymore. And Don Mattingly was always compared to him with injuries.
Yep.
It was, people would always say, how is Kirby Puckett in the Hall of Fame, but Don Mattingly isn't? And by the way, you know, this is just sentimental. If David Wright got in the Hall of Fame and Ryan Howard fell off in the first ballot, didn't get like more than 2 votes, I certainly would feel some type of way about that.
Oh, 100%.
That every single, for the rest of time, every single power hitter, the graphic on the TV is going to say the most home runs at this amount of games played, whatever, and Ryan Howard will always be number 1 in every single one of those lists.
Yep.
Just the tear that guy was on. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, this was Pastimes on the Mic, Hall of Fame ballot edition. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, man. Ryan Howard, dude, what an absolute insane peak he had. Yeah, he's off the ballot now entirely, right?
Oh, yeah, he fell off. He fell off in his first year.
That's terrible. That's terrible. He should still be up there. I think people really forget how good he was when he first started. But yeah, this was Pastimes on the Mic. Send us an email who you think should be a Hall of Famer, who shouldn't be. Send us any fantasy baseball questions. Drafts are coming up soon. Thank you for tuning in. This was Pastimes on the Mic. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that noise. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.